Hi everyone, and welcome to another BIMco Bytes. Today we're looking at the Microsoft PowerToys package, which is a helpful suite of tools that we can use in our everyday work. And in particular, we'll be looking at the following tools: the Text Extractor, the Mouse Highlighter, bulk renaming, image resizing, the Advanced Paste, the Color Picker, and the Fancy Zones. But first of all, what is it exactly? So it's a free bunch of tools that Microsoft has released, although unofficially. You have to go to their website to download it. But we've also got a link on our knowledge base, so you can install it from there. You may require IT admin access to get that set up for you. But what are the tools that we like to often use? Well, the first one, let's take a look, is the Text Extractor. So let's say, for example, here on Revit, just to use as an example, if you wanted to copy and paste all this text here, so literally what it says here in the project browser, area plan, WD plan, general basement, level 4, so on and so forth, it wouldn't actually be very easy to try and copy that or even this text up here. So there is a shortcut using the PowerToys tool here. If we open it up, we can see that the text extractor tool here uses the shortcut Windows, Shift, and T. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that on my keyboard. And you'll notice that I get this dark overlay. Hopefully you can see that. And so what I can do now is perform a marquee selection around an area on my screen. So say, for example, let's just take this section over here. And then I can use that text that's now on my clipboard and paste it somewhere. So let's go to an email and just hit Control V. And that's the text that was over here. So essentially, it's just using optical character recognition to try and extract text from some type of recognizable text on your screen. So what is this useful for? It's useful for things like if you need to extract text from a PDF, but you can't actually select it to highlight it and then copy. It might be useful for text within images. A lot of modern phones can now extract text from images. And so this is just kind of doing it in a more big scale way on your screen. So you might find that useful. Okay, let's now have a look at the advanced paste tool. It's coming back here to PowerToys, coming up to the dashboard and the advanced paste here. So you can see the shortcut to perform a quick paste for plain text is Control-Shift-V. So what is this useful for? Well, let's suppose that you're on a website, for example, and I'm interested in copying this text here. So let's go and copy that. If I were to, let's actually just copy this section over here. Copy, Control-C, and let's come back into my email. Now let's paste that, Control-V. You'll notice that there's a lot of text formatting that's been pasted in because this particular email is a rich text format editor. And so you can get things like, bolding, underlining, hyperlinking, as you can see there. But if I then actually use Control-Shift-V, it actually pastes just purely the text. And because we had the bold there before it turned into bold, we can see it's removed to the hyperlinks and it effectively removed the bold and any other formatting. So that might be a quick way to, grab text from somewhere. Again, might be a PDF or a document, and you're just wanting the text itself. This is a quick way to extract just the text and remove all the formatting that you don't require. All right, let's have a look at a very simple one, but it's pretty useful when you're doing presentations. It's called the Find My Mouse tool. And really all it is if you hit the Control key twice here, in this case, we've got it set up like that, you'll notice a little highlighter that follows your mouse. So this is good during presentations when you're trying to bring people's focus to a particular part of your screen, to stop them from getting distracted. You can bring them into focus with where your mouse is currently at. Let's take a look at the bulk renaming. It's coming back here within PowerToys to my dashboard. Bulk renaming, PowerRename it's called. So the way that we open this is to press Shift and right click on the files to open in the context menu. So let's say you've been out to site, you've taken a whole bunch of photos either on your phone or the office's camera, and you've brought it into your you've emailed it to yourself, or you've imported it into a drive somewhere, but now you just get a whole bunch of images that are named like so. And so rather than having to rename them, with a particular address one by one, what you can do is you can select all of them, hold Shift, right click, and I'm going to go rename with PowerRename. And so here on the left column, it shows me what the original file name is and what it will be renamed to. So let's say I'm looking for the phrase or keywords image here. What I'm going to replace image underscore or img underscore is with, say, just the project address underscore. I'm just going to hit apply. And so my images have been renamed. So this is really useful for keeping your files organized. And what if, after looking at these images, we've actually imported some of them into Revit. Maybe we've needed them for parts of the documentation. But your BIM manager comes and taps you on the shoulder and says, look, guys, these images here, the resolution is, unnecessarily big and the file size is weighing down the model. Can we please, compress them down or make them smaller so that it's not going to weigh down the file too much. You can see here the file size, 1 megabytes, 2 megabytes. In this case, not too bad, but in other cases where you're just purely bringing in the raw photo, it could be very large. So we can actually perform a image resizing. So again, it's got some presets here. In this case, it's got small, medium, large, and phone. And you can see here the sample resolution sizes that you can change that to. But I'm going to leave those for now. So what I can do is I can come and select my files again, hold Shift, right click, and I'm going to resize with Image Resizer. And so you'll see here that the drop down with the same options we saw in the settings before. Let's say I'm going to try and compress these images down or make them smaller as much as I can. So make the pictures smaller but not larger. I'll ignore the orientation of the pictures and I won't overwrite them. So I want to keep the original, and let's go and resize them. Okay, so you can see now it's created a small version of each one. And you can see that the file size has been dramatically reduced. So you can see here in the bottom left-hand corner here, the resolution of the image is 480 by 720, and it's only 76 kilobytes large, whereas the original obviously a lot larger there. So that's pretty handy when you need to bulk resize your images. Okay, what about if you're trying to do some, some mood boards, or you're trying to put a color palette together? What if you want to try and pick a color off your screen and try and, bring that into Photoshop or Illustrator or some other application, maybe even Revit to use? Well, coming back to our settings here, we can use the color picker tool. So the shortcut for that is Windows Shift C, and it will open up an editor. So I've got this image here of a sunset and some a boat on the water. So I'm going to hit Control, rather Shift, Windows C. And you can see that there's a picker that comes over my mouse. I'm going to click somewhere over here. And you'll notice that now it gives me the hex value, the RGB value, and the CMYK value of the color that we just picked. And I can go and copy that and then use that either in, an application or some other place that I need. And the handy thing about this is that, if you do this a lot, it'll keep a history of all the colors that you picked before. So, that's nice and handy. So you can go and copy the values of previously picked colors. All right, last but not least, we're going to look at fancy zones. So think of fancy zones as a way of setting up custom zones for apps on your screen. So this is particularly helpful if you've got multiple monitors and you're using monitors for particular functions. Maybe you've got one for your emails, one for Revit, one for Photoshop, for example. If I open up the layout editor here, you can see I've set up this custom layout here, so you can go and create a new layout. And when I go and edit this particular layout that I've already got, so here's the name of the layout, and you can set a hotkey or a shortcut for it, but I've left it as none for now. The critical part here is this middle section here. I'm going to hit on the Edit Zones button, and you can see here that I've set up two zones for this particular fancy zone. One is on the left where I usually prefer to have a chat app or my emails, and then on the right side, for example, might be an app that requires more screen real estate, so maybe things like Photoshop or Revit. And so I've set those up, and you can use the dragger to drag and make those smaller or larger. And then obviously you can go and click and add more zones as you require. You can even add horizontal zones. So you can set up as how you like and across different monitors. So how does this actually work in practice? Well, when I actually go to resize my windows, I just hold the Shift key while clicking on the header. And you can see here now I can actually snap to those zones that I've defined. So say I can snap and release that window here. I might come and grab my browser here and then hold Shift, and you can see that blue overlay comes up. I'll snap that over to my left side. I can do that with, say Revit as well. So coming over here, snapping that over to the right over there, and then coming over, holding Shift, waiting for that blue overlay, letting go, and then snapping over to the left. So I hope that's given you some inspiration, just little tools to help with your productivity, but also just to help with your everyday workflows to make life a little bit easier.